Social media footage showed birds on shores covered in mazut on Monday, after 3,700 tons of the heavy, low-quality oil product spilled into the Kerch Strait in the Black Sea when two Russian ships were seriously damaged by stormy weather. The two ships, the Volgoneft 239 and the Volgoneft 212, were transporting roughly 9,200 tons of mazut. Footage from the scene also showed a black liquid rising among the waves. Preliminary estimates say that 3,700 tons of mazut leaked into the sea, Russian state news outlet RIA Novosti reported, citing an unnamed source. The leader of Russia's nearby Krasnodar region, Governor Veniamin Kondratev, said everything was removable. "We can say with confidence that there will be no threat to the 2025 resort season," he added. An emergency rescue operation was launched Sunday after the Volgoneft 212 tanker ran aground and had its bow torn away in storm conditions, Russia's Emergency Situations Ministry said. One sailor in the 13-man crew died, officials said. A second tanker, the Volgoneft 239, was also left damaged and adrift with 14 crew members on board. It later ran aground 80 meters from shore, close to the port of Taman in Russia's Krasnodar region, from where the sailors were later rescued. Russian officials confirmed the oil spill Sunday, but said that experts were still working to assess its full impact and extent. In a statement, Greenpeace Ukraine said they will monitor the situation. The charity has had no presence in Russia since 2023, when it was designated as an undesirable organization by the Russian government. The Kerch Strait separates the Russian-occupied Crimean Peninsula from Russia and is an important global shipping route, providing passage from the Sea of Azov to the Black Sea. It has also been a key point of conflict between Russia and Ukraine after Moscow annexed the peninsula from Ukraine in 2014. In 2016, Ukraine took Moscow to the Permanent Court of Arbitration, where it accused Russia of trying to seize control of the area illegally. In 2021, Russia closed the strait for several months.
16 декабря, поселок Волна, порт. Это уже вторая на берегу, вся в мазуте. Как помочь-то вам? Помощи просит. Бедненькая.
Спасаем птицу. Выловили на анапке. Да. На анапке куча птиц. Кто может хотя бы по одной, выловите, спасите. Все ходят, только смотрят и снимают на телефон. Все птицы в мазуте. Вот черная вся.
У меня муж здесь, у меня брат здесь, у меня сын с Краснодара приехал, помогает.
Мы это все уберем. Даже невзирая на то, что кажется внешне, что очень как бы страшно.
President-elect Donald Trump says he expects solving the Russia-Ukraine war will be more difficult and criticizes the Biden administration for allowing the use of US-made long-range missiles. "I don't think they should have allowed missiles to be shot 200 miles into Russia," said Trump from his Mar-a-Lago home in Florida. I think that was a bad thing. And that brought the Koreans. Trump has railed against forever wars since before his first term in office and long spoken favorably of Russian President Vladimir Putin.
No, but if you'd like to come, I'd like to have him. I mean, I didn't invite him, no.
Are you disappointed that China won't be at the inauguration?
I don't know that he won't be at the inauguration. I mean, I haven't really spoken to him about it. I don't know that, actually. I would say that if he'd like to come, I'd love to have him. But there's been nothing much discussed. I have had discussions with him, letters, et cetera, at a very high level. You know, we had a very good relationship until COVID. COVID didn't end the relationship, but it was a bridge too far for me. But if he'd like to come, I'd certainly be. He hasn't, just so you understand, he hasn't said one way or the other. Because a lot of people say he won't come, he will come. People think he will come, he won't come. It's something we barely discussed, just about didn't discuss. But I have had, especially through letters, some very good conversations.
Have you had conversations with Venezuela?
You know, because China and the United States can together solve all of the problems of the world, if you think about it. So it's very important. More difficult is going to be the Russia-Ukraine situation. I see that as more difficult. I don't think they should have allowed missiles to be shot 200 miles into Russia. I think that was a bad thing. And that brought the Koreans in, you know, North Korea, another man I get along with very well. I'm the only one that does. But that did a lot of bad things. I don't think that should have been allowed. Not when there's a possibility, and certainly not just weeks before I take over. Why would they do that without asking me what I thought? I wouldn't have had them do that. I think that was a big mistake they made.
Will you reverse that decision when you're in office to let those
I might, yeah.
missiles be
I thought it was a very stupid thing to do.
And when you
What should Zelensky, if anything, be prepared to give up to end this war? Do you have anything in mind to end this
He
war?
should be prepared to make a deal. That's all. Got to be a deal. No, got to be a deal. Too many people being killed. That is a war that's too many people. Got to make a deal. And Putin has to make a deal.
What deal would
By the way, Putin has to make a deal, and Putin would have never gone in if I was president. If I was president, we wouldn't have had inflation. Our oil prices would have been lower. I had a good relationship with Putin. He would have, despite the Russia hoax, which made it more difficult. If we had that election, if it were an honorable election, we wouldn't have had any of the problems that we're talking about right now. Putin would have never gone in.
Before you take office, do you still think you can make that deal? Will you ask Putin to give up Assad?
Well, I hadn't thought of it. I think we have to get on with our lives. We'll have to see what happens. But right now, Syria has a lot of, you know, there's a lot of indefinites. Nobody knows what's going to happen with Syria. But I think Turkey is going to hold the key to Syria, actually. I don't think you've heard that from anybody else, but I've been pretty good at predicting.